Hey guys, go check out my new sponsor at instantmaddencoins.com. They sell coins on all platforms and you won't get instant delivery anywhere else. Use my code RHA at checkout for 10%.
This the only way we know to go. Squad up, never roll alone. And we gon' ride on forever.
Hey guys, it's Swag from RHA or Relic QOTD's Army here, and today I'm just gonna be doing a troll team selection. Basically, what I'm gonna be doing is choosing the worst team I can, and I'm just gonna be making Relic play on this team, and then Relic is gonna make a team for me that I'm gonna have to play on. We're gonna play a few games against each other, and well, the winner is gonna win and the loser is gonna have to quick sell some of their best players, which isn't gonna be fun. So this basically what we're doing is just, choosing the worst possible team with certain requirements. Otherwise, you could probably choose all bronzes, but we have special requirements. For example, if you look at the programs, there's a lot of programs out there. There's Thanksgivings, Award Winner, SIG, all of that, as you can see here. With all of the promos, it would be 23, including if you include the base elite, base gold, base silver, and base bronze. So if you add everything together, that's 26 players. Now those 26 players are going to fill up the 26 spots of your roster, because you have set 26 spots on your offense and defense combined, and then we're not going to do anything for special teams. So basically we're just going to be choosing the worst player, the worst elite player for each of those programs. So we're just going to start with a player that is, I don't even know why this player exists, but I'll show you real quick. He is Lorenzo Alexander, and he is a journeyman player. I'm just going to go with this first just because of the fact that when I was setting this up, there was one expiring relatively soon, and he was the cheapest one by a lot. There you go, 85,000 coins. You have 4 minutes. I wanted to just get this out of the way before I missed out on him, but when I click on his stats, you guys are just literally gonna die. And here you go. Look at his speed. Just look at the speed. 65 speed on an 86 overall linebacker. I mean, why would they make a linebacker so slow? 65 speed on an 86 overall journeyman linebacker. We are going to toast this guy. For Thanksgiving players, I'm just gonna look for Chris Baker. He is the Thanksgiving defensive end, and the reason why I'm selecting him, there isn't really a bad part about him. It's just that compared to the other Thanksgiving players, he isn't as good. I mean, he's a defensive lineman, which don't matter too much, which means that I'm just going to use, for example, all Thanksgiving elites are relatively good, so I'm just going to use it on Chris Baker because I need to get a defensive end. So that's where my Thanksgiving player is going to be. Now, for flashback, I was thinking about doing Brian Arakpo, but I decided to go with Martellus Bennett because Martellus Bennett is pretty slow for a tight end, and I thought I did players, but that's fine. So I thought Martellus Bennett, he's pretty slow. He has 81 speed, and the main reason why I would rather have Martellus Bennett over someone like Brian Arakpo, who's pretty garbage, is because I already have a lot of bad linebackers. There's a lot of really slow or really bad in coverage linebackers, so I'd rather use this selection on Martellus Bennett, since I do need some tight ends. So that is why I chose Martellus Bennett there. Now, for the legend player, it's just an easy selection. There's only one fullback, and there's only one legend fullback, so why would I not choose that? I mean, he's not going to do much at all. There's no reason I wouldn't select this. So we're going to get the cheapest one here, which for 128,000 right there. Max Strong, welcome to the squad. You probably won't be getting many snaps. So for the game changer player, I decided to go right back to the linebacker position. And I thought I did elite players, but okay. And that player is Elvis Dumerville. This guy is really slow. If you look at it, 74 speed. That's not quite as slow as our boy Lorenzo Alexander with 65, but 74 speed, even at defensive end, is slow. So at a linebacker position, this guy is going to get toasted. he's gonna get burned and it's just gonna be ugly, which is why we decided to get Elvis Doomerville, the linebacker, to make this linebacking core even worse. Now, we got some more slow guys over here, and since we already got our journeyman player, we're gonna just get Mercedes Lewis right here as our veteran. Now, this guy is a lot of money, but this is mainly just because he's a Jaguar Elite. All of them go for a lot, so that's why he's a bit more expensive. But 73 speed on a tight end. I mean, his blocking skills aren't too bad, but for an 85 overall tight end, you can't have 73 speed. I don't think he's going to be much of a weapon in the passing game, and that's why I decided to get him. So, the next player I decided to get would have been a team hero right here, and there aren't really any bad team heroes. None that are really slow or have bad coverage or bad speed. So I just decided to go get Try Turner here, who is pretty decent besides for the fact that he doesn't have good impact block, and that was the main reason I decided to get him for the squad. Again, there aren't too many bad team heroes, so I just had to get an offensive lineman there. So for X Factor, this wasn't a problem for me. I'm already just going to complete the linebacking core by getting Julius Peppers. You know what? He's also really slow. You want to see how slow he is? 75 speed. And the problem is, he's actually faster than the other two linebackers with 75 speed. I don't think I would ever say that in my life, but 75 speed is actually very fast compared to the other linebackers. If we update our team, you can see it right here. Our three extremely slow linebackers. We got 65 speed over here with Lorenzo Alexander. We got 674 out there with Elvis Doomerville, and we got 75 with Julius Peppers. So I'm just going to swap the positioning of these guys around a bit, because if Relic does decide to run a 4-3 defense, which I think he might, then I would rather have the slow guys on the outside, Lorenzo Alexander and Elvis Doomerville, because the 3-4 position probably plays around like 1 or 2% of the snaps in a 4-3 defense, so it doesn't matter too much. Our offense, let's just look at this real quick. Try Turner, and then we got Martellus Bennett, who I'm actually going to put in the slot because I feel like Relic would throw to his normal tight end more. And I'm just going to put Mercedes Lewis, the 73 speed tight end, as his tight end. So going on now, we're 8 players through, we have 18 more to go. And I'm just going to go with Aqib Talib. The next player we need to get is a League v League player, and honestly, the League v League players are all pretty good. So, I decided to just get Aqib Talib, if there's one up, and there is. Fortunately, for 100k, I didn't know if there'd be one up, because he's a pretty rare player. So, for the next player, I decided to get Arian Foster as the running back, the Headliners edition. So, the reason why I got Arian Foster is just because he's slow. I mean, most of the players on this team, I got them because they're slow, and Arian Foster is no exception. And it looks like we're going to be able to pick him up here for 50,000 coins right here, which is a good addition. So, as a running back, this card isn't too bad in terms of trucking and catching, but in terms of speed, is really slow, which is the reason why I decided to get him. For the next player, I decided to get none other but Harrison Smith, the safety. The reason why I'm getting him is because of that 66-man coverage right there. We can put these players wherever we want, and I want Harrison Smith to play in the nickel. If you guys don't know what that is, this guy will play against my slot receiver. And with 66-man coverage, I think my slot receiver will totally torch him, even if it's a bronze. Because Harrison Smith just cannot, he's just not good at man coverage. So, I actually missed the Football Outsiders here, but I'm just going to decide to get Brandon Scherf, who is the O-guard for the Washington Redskins. So, for Football Outsiders, there also aren't a lot of players that are bad. There are some Football Outsiders that are bad, but there are already players with positions I have already, like linebackers. I already have completed that. I know this isn't my account, but, I mean, I still would rather not buy an overpriced Scherf because it just saves money all around. So, The next player I'm going to get is actually a signature player. So this, I was having a tough time deciding just because there are so many signature players that aren't too good. For example, Greg Olsen, 84 speed as a tight end, which is decent but not too good. Glover Quinn, without the best coverage stats. I obviously can't get a special teamer, or I probably would have done that. I was thinking about getting a player like Alec Ogletree, but I thought he was a lot slower than 86 speed. And I was also thinking about getting an offensive lineman like Doug Free or one like Ramon Foster, but I ended up getting Randall Cobb, which is an interesting selection, but I'm not sure if I would quite agree with it myself. It is my selection again, but this was just one of the toughest selections I had to make, and I just ended up making Randall Cobb. I feel like this card is very bad. He has decent speed, but his catch is very low for Randall Cobb, and I believe he's also not very tall, which is the reason why I went with him. He also was cheaper than the offensive lineman by far. For BCA cards, I was looking around and I decided I would just get Malcolm Butler. There are not any bad BCA cards. I mean, at least if there were, I would have already seen them, but at this point, a lot of our team has already been complete, which is why I had to go with Malcolm Butler. We don't have any cornerbacks yet, so he will not be a bad addition to the team. His stats are pretty good, though. My main reason I chose him was because he's short, though. He's 5'10 or 5'11 if I recall. And the next player I get is probably going to be the most disputed pick in this little mini series. Not really a series, but for the award winners, I decided to go with Andre Johnson, the 93 overall wide receiver for about 300,000 coins. The reason why I went with this selection is because he is a tall receiver, yes, but he is 87 speed, so not the fastest. And also, the other selection here would have been John Kuhn, and that probably would have been a lot better of a choice, except that when I was making this selection, or when I was writing down the original players, I didn't know that John Kuhn was an award winner. So that's the reason why I chose Andre Johnson. I could have also chosen an offensive lineman, but if you look at their stats, they are very good at blocking. J.R. Sweezy and Max Unger, their blocking stats are insane. And honestly, I think the offensive lineman is pretty important. I might only be the only one that thinks that, but that was just my opinion. So we needed to build up the offensive line more since we didn't have enough offensive line players. And I just decided to get Joe Staley. Nothing really against him. He's a great player. He has decent stats. Just that I needed an offensive lineman, and for most fear, there were not really any other weak positions. As we look at our team here, we actually get an 81 overall offense right now. But if you guys notice, we don't have a quarterback, and that's going to be because we're going to get a bronze quarterback. So I said at the beginning of the video, we have one bronze selection, and that's for me is going to be a quarterback, because I feel like without a good quarterback, Relic won't be able to do well. And that's why we haven't gotten a quarterback yet. So for the next selection, it has to be a most beard selection, and there were not a lot of most beard players available. And looking at these, I do not want to give him someone like Eric Decker. And even if my receiver core wasn't full already, I still wouldn't want to do that. So I just decided to go with an offensive line piece, Eric Winston. Great blocking stats, but there were no other realistic selections for me to get there since I already had all the other positions. The next position is an MVP player. This selection might also be highly disputed, but I decided to go with Joe Hayden. And yes, he is a great player. He is just an amazing player, I'm not gonna lie, but there is this position called dime, and in your dime you can put a cornerback or a safety, and say you put someone like Joe Hayden in there. Well, the thing is, they're only going to be playing about 5% of all the defensive snaps, which means that he's not going to be on the field very much. So that's why I decided to go with Joe Hayden. I could have gotten a safety to MVP safety because they wouldn't play very much, but I just decided to get Joe Hayden. So for the next position, I had to choose a player-up player. Now, the player up elite players, there are not very many. I believe there's only 4. And those are Doug Free, Connor Barwin, KJ Wright, which I haven't seen here yet, and also a Phillip Rivers. So out of those players, I decided to go with Connor Barwin because we still needed a defensive end. His stats are pretty good, except for the fact that he's probably more of a finesse pass rusher, and he has good power moves, which means his finesse moves are likely bad. But for our other selections here, we have to get 1 bronze, 1 elite, 1 gold, and 1 silver. I could have said that better. And then we can choose 3 random other elites for the rest of the team. So if you look at our holes that we're missing right now, we're missing a quarterback, a center on offense, and for defense, we're missing a cornerback, a safety, and 2 defensive tackles and 1 middle linebacker. So that's 7 players total. And I was just literally searching up for the worst bronze quarterback, and in my opinion, it is this one right. I think I spelled his name wrong, but I think it is Gerard Johnson, because if you look at his stats, he doesn't have great accuracy. That's the main reason I chose him, but the people with worse accuracy than him are pretty mobile. This guy is 74 speed. He probably won't be running much, which is the reason I got him, since I do not want Relic to run a lot on my defense. The next selection I made was a silver safety. So I could have went with a silver middle linebacker here. It may have been more important. I don't really know, but I went with Ko Shillo. I don't know how to pronounce his name. I probably did it wrong. Yeah, Shillo Ko. Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but this guy has garbage speed and garbage coverage, which is the reason I got him. With 73 zone coverage and 59 man coverage, you can't expect him to do anything really. So that's why I got him, and he's going to be playing free safety for our team. The next player I got was a gold, and I decided to address the middle linebacker spot with a garbage player, and that player is Steven Tulloch. If you look at this guy's speed, you're going to realize why he's such a garbage player. Is this enough said? Our linebacking core is going to be the slowest linebacking core, or one of the slowest linebacking cores in the game, and it's not a bad linebacking core either in terms of overall, which justifies that overall doesn't quite mean everything. I mean, if you have players with 75 speed or worse at your linebacking core, it's going to be a rough day for you. And now for our 3 elites, we have 1 base elite, and then we have to have 3 other elites to fill in the rest of our team. One of those elites, and namely the base elite I decided to do first, was Matt Khalil, the center. The main reason I decided to get Khalil was just because he's a center, and we don't have a center. That was basically my justification for buying Ryan Khalil. He isn't the best center either. I could have went with Pouncey or Frederick here, but I decided to go with Khalil just because he has 80 pass block, and that's not the best when you're probably going to be passing. If my linebacking core is decent, then he's probably going to be passing, especially if he has someone like Arian Foster as his running back. For another elite, I decided to get Dwight Lowery, I believe the journeyman player, or something like that, because this guy is pretty slow for a safety. He's definitely not as slow as, some of the other players up there, and I think there might only be 1 up. If I check, it's a journeyman, 2 up, 1 for 100k, 81 speed, and that's the reason I got him. For an 88 overall journeyman player, 81 speed isn't good at all. And that's the reason I decided to get him. So at this point, I just went back, looked at who I got, and, well, I have my offense complete. It's 86 overall, and it's led by the GOAT, Gerard Johnson. And if you look at our defense here, we're missing 2 defensive tackles still. And that's what I'm trying to address right now. And those players, I just decided to get the players with the elites with lowest strength, which are Fletcher Cox and K'Wan Short as their defensive tackles. Those guys have the lowest strength, so I just decided to go with that since I felt like they wouldn't be able to stop our run as well as some other players out there. So this is our Fletcher Cox purchase and our K'Wan Short purchase right here. Upcoming is they're going to be our defensive tackles, and that's going to round out our team. One thing we still need to do is position our team because they are not positioned in the right places necessarily as I want them to. If you look at our team right here, our offense is decent. I just need to move around Martellus Bennett and Mercedes Lewis, since I'd rather have a slow tight end in the tight end spot because I feel like you throw to that more. We'll plug in Martellus Bennett there, and you will plug in Mercedes Lewis there. For our defense, the best lineup thing kind of skewed our lineup, I guess. I do want Lorenzo Alexander on the outside, as I said before, because of his speed. And just because I want to show you guys the speed of this linebacking core, I will do it again. It starts with Julius Peppers with an amazing 75 speed. You cannot beat that 75 speed. And Elver Stubenfeld, 74 speed. That's pretty fast compared to this guy, Lorenzo Alexander, with 65 speed. Are you serious? Why would you make that card? And then Steven Tulloch, the middle linebacker, with 74 speed. That is an outstanding and very quick linebacking core. Now, as I said before, I'm going to put Harrison Smith in the nickel just because he's going to be playing my slot receiver or tight end more with his 60 man coverage. I'm definitely okay with that. I also need to plug in these guys at the tackle. I'll plug K'Wan Short in at the 4-3 and then Fletcher Cox there. No, not really any reasoning behind that move. Just I felt like Fletcher Cox was the worst player by a bit. So Shilokio, I don't know how to pronounce that again, is going to be playing our free safety spot, since I believe that free safety generally is a more important position than strong safety. And Dwight Lowry, the 81 speed with 65 hit power, is going to be playing strong safety for us. And the rest of our team is decent. I just need to flip around Joe Hayden, put him in the dime because I feel like he's too good of a player to stay in an actual secondary, since nobody actually uses the dime. Or the dime doesn't play on the field very much. And Aqib Talib with 84 speed isn't going to be doing a great job at quarter number 1. But anyway, guys, this is going to be my reasoning behind my choices of the worst team with these limits in Madden Mobile. A lot of these guys are slow, or they can't cover on defense, and on offense, the quarterback can't throw. The receivers are decent. I mean, they're pretty good, I guess, but that's just my reasoning behind it. The linebacking core is definitely the worst positions on my team, if not for the quarterback, which I guess you could say. But this linebacking core is what we're trying to take advantage of, and I hope that Relic gave us a decent running back so we can run all over this defense. Anyway, guys, if you like my part of the video, please give this video a like, subscribe to RHA if you have not already, and Swag is out.
It ain't my fault.